our Automotive Technologies STEM career session. And obviously just the reminders, which I know everyone heard those. As we mentioned that we are part of the career clusters focused on transportation, distribution, and logistics. So when you receive a copy of this handout, you'll actually be able to read a little bit more, but it can include everything from the hands-on to the management related to transportation services, anything from the road to the rail to air to water. The next area that we focus on is just talking about how the Virginia Department of Education, which is where we reference our career clusters, some of the different types of positions that are listed in those areas, as well as for NOVA, what we specifically talk about with individuals for career pathways, anyone anywhere from automotive service technician to sales representative, service or parts manager, field service or automotive, or an instructor like we have Professor Garcia. And so as we mentioned, Laura's background, Professor Garcia Morea. She has an AAS in automotive technology with the Ford Asset Program, and she's an ASE Master Technician. She also is L3 hybrid and electrical vehicle certified, and then also has some certifications in electrical and electronics Master Technician, General Motors Engine Repair. And then she's also a former assistant manager and Ford technician. NOVA does have two campuses, as we mentioned before, Alexandria, Manassas, and we offer the Global GM ASCP Cooperative Internship Diesel and Collision Repair programs. Our next panelist that's going to be with us today is Michelle Reyes. She is a BMW technician at BMW of Fairfax. She is a graduate of our automotive program here at NOVA, and we've included her information if you'd like to reach out to her. But BMW of Fairfax is a dealership owned by Sonic Automotive, a workplace filled with very supportive people. The best part of working as a technician at BMW is that she's faced with something different every day and she never stops learning. Michelle currently works, as we mentioned, at BMW of Fairfax as a technician. She graduated in 2019 from our associate's degree program in automotive and applied science. And then she applied and attended the BMW STEP program in New Jersey. In her spare time, she enjoys playing rugby, painting, enjoys hiking, and of course, attending car shows. So Michelle, if you're able to wave to the crowd, let us know where you are. We'd love to see you.
Here.
What's up? Up there she is. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Look, you look like the person in the picture. Same outfit and everything. Love it.
Yes, I just finished up a car, so.
Awesome. We loved it. We loved it. So thank you so much for joining. And so next, what we're going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to turn it over to Laura, who is going to share with you a little bit of information about our programs. And then we will go back after that.
Well, thank you, Tiffany and Nicole, for putting all this together. This is, really great that everybody gets to just pop in on a Zoom real quick and learn a little something in a short period of time. So this is, really fantastic. As Tiffany had mentioned, I'm the automotive instructor and one of the automotive instructors at the Alexandria campus automotive program. I'm also the program head, new this year. And, we do all kinds of events and fun things. So, check back with us occasionally because hopefully we will be able to host some events like this one pictured here where everybody can come out and just hang out and, and come for a tour anytime you guys please. So, open doors, open hearts over here. Okay. So a little bit about being a technician, it's very independent work. So that's kind of nice. You sort of get paid for what you know and paid for how much you do. And there's a lot of career options when you start out as an automotive technician. So a lot of technicians, when they first start out, they probably don't have any experience. They might just be doing oil changes, tire rotations, basic maintenance services. So that's, as of a few years ago, that was, a $21,000 to $23,000 a year job on average. Okay. Now I think the price has escalated quite a bit, but the BLS statistics don't quite, haven't caught up with the inflation rate recently. So take these numbers with a grain of salt, please. The average technician, after you graduate from a program or you have, let's say 3 to 4 years of experience out there, well, even 1 to 2, you'll probably be making somewhere in the $50,000 a year range. But after about 5 to 10 years of experience, when you're really good and you've got your certifications, a lot of techs are going to be making somewhere in the $70,000 range. And of course, there's a few that have stayed in the industry a long time. They really know their stuff. They're really good. They're really fast. They might end up going into managing as a shop foreman, who's the technical expert in the shop, or as a service manager, right? So there's a lot of flexibility there for technicians who start out on the technical side. And this figure I think is a little bit low for our Northern Virginia area. Generally, these people are making 6 figures easily. So something to consider. There's a lot of job opportunities. We are continuously in a shortage situation. So pretty much anyone who wants a job is going to be able to find a job. I could probably get you one today if you wanted one with no experience. So that being said, a lot of our students, no matter what program they're in, they choose to work in the field the same time they're coming to school, just to get their feet wet and to apply what they're learning at school in the real world. So those are the students who tend to be the most successful upon graduation, those who have at least a little bit of experience. A little bit goes a long way, I can tell you that. So there are careers outside of just being a technician. That's where a lot of people start. That's where I recommend everybody starts out, for your first 5 or 10 years in the industry. And you can go out there, you can become a field service engineer for your particular manufacturer if you started out at the dealer. And they basically go around to dealers or shops that are having really, really difficult to diagnose problems, and they're the ones that come out and fix it. So that is a pretty prestigious job, I would say. And then of course you can go into automotive engineering. We do have a transfer agreement with Ferris State University of Michigan, where most of our automotive manufacturers in the US are located, and you can start doing automotive engineering after that. And you can also get into the corporate world. So some people have a little bit of a business edge or lean to them. And so that's something that they may end up doing after their stint as a technician. Okay, a lot of our students surprisingly find non-automotive careers. We have the DC subway system right here. So we have a lot of students that end up going for Metro Rail. In other areas of the country, they end up working for natural gas companies. And I've even had some students move on to becoming a medical equipment repair technician. So your skills, your hands-on skills, your problem-solving skills transfer into a lot of different areas. So you are really, really valuable inside automotive and outside of automotive. So you have a ton of flexibility. We do have several programs, right? Like a lot of people don't even know we exist, which is kind of sad, but we have the General Motors ASEP program. It's a cooperative internship program. So you're going to school about half the time as a typical student, and the other half of the time you are in an internship, a paid internship with a mentor. So you basically get one-on-one instruction with your mentor, which is fantastic. Who wouldn't want a one-on-one teacher? And by the end, you get all kinds of GM certifications. You've got your field experience, you've got your degree, you got it all in less than 2 years, and you are out there and ready to plug and play. We have a global automotive program, and that's for just about anybody. Global would fit anybody who maybe has a general interest in automotive and wants to just learn a little bit more on the consumer end of things, who maybe wants to go for another manufacturer such as BMW and do the BMW STEP program like our other presenter Michelle has done. And we have a lot of students who go into a variety of careers through global automotive as well. So some choose to just go straight to parts or straight to writing service, doing selling repair orders and selling some of the work. Or, I've had some students try out being a technician and they're like, actually, I really like selling cars, and they do fantastic with that too. So plenty of options out there. We also have a collision repair program, and that's part-time for a year. You come to school, and at the end, you've got all the foundational stuff you need to get started as a collision repair apprentice or technician even. We also have a diesel program that's out at the Manassas campus. Manassas also has a global automotive program, and they have a welding program. So welding is a very, very popular program to get into, and a lot of students have a hard time getting in there because the classes fill up so fast. But luckily, our enrollment has been very good lately, so it's always good to just get yourself registered, get through all the NOVA paperwork, at least, even if you're not sure which program specifically you're interested in doing, and contact an instructor to get a little bit better idea. Again, come by for a tour. We can explain all the ins and outs of what we do and what we're trying to accomplish and trying to help students accomplish with in their lives. So focusing a little more on automotive technology, we have a lot of certificate options here. So whether you're in the GM ASEP Cooperative Internship Program or you're in our Global Automotive Program, you're going to get these same things regardless. So you'll be getting the Maintenance and Light Repair Career Study Certificate. You can get that done part-time in 1 year. So if you're kind of like, well, I'm not fully committed, or I have another job I have to work, or something of that nature, that's a great way to go. And we're encouraging a lot of our fellow high schools to be dual enrolled with us so that they can get their Maintenance and Light Repair Career Studies Certificate completed in high school. So that's sort of, our transition degree there. The Automotive Diagnosis and Repair Career Study Certificate is all the fundamental stuff that you need to go out there and start working on cars. So we cover a lot of different courses there, and there's no general education classes required. You get it done if you're a full-time student within 1 year. So that's a great, quick hit career study certificate. And all of those things transfer up into our associate degree. So even if you're not sure you want to go for the degree, we've got some certificates to kind of get you where you want to be, get you started in the field. And then if you want to continue with the degree, you can, right? So again, just, talk to an advisor, a faculty member preferably, and we will help you on your way. Some students, and I don't necessarily recommend that everyone goes straight to a 4-year school. It's a good idea to go out there, work, especially on the technical side for a few years before you really know for sure where you want to invest your time and money, and what career path you want to go on or what direction you want to take. But we do have a couple transfer options in the country, not in the state, unfortunately, but many of these are online options, so you can do those at your own pace as well. So we have a 4-year in automotive technology, a 4-year in field service operations. So if you want to be that field service engineer, we've got the program for you to transfer to, automotive engineering and automotive business. So we kind of cover all the bases with these schools. A little bit about our facility. So, it would be great if everyone was here in person and I could give you the tour, but I at least have a couple pictures to share. So these are the toolboxes that we use when we are going out into our lab area and fixing cars. So generally speaking, the instructors will set up a lab station, will bug some cars in a particular way so that we're meeting the particular learning objectives and ensuring that you really understand some of these fundamental concepts that are going to help you when you get out there into the real world and get a multitude of problems thrown at you, right? And here's our tool room where we keep a lot of our tools. There's more to the tool room than just this picture for sure. And we've got tools scattered everywhere. I don't know, we're tool junkies, you know, we just love tools and equipment. So we've got a lot of it. This is one side of our building, and on the, I'm sorry, let me back up a little bit. Here's one side of our building, and then on the right-hand side is the lab area. And we have a couple labs. So this is one of our most popular labs because we don't have a whole lot of big equipment in it. So it's easy to move around. Here's our alignment, brakes, suspension, and steering lab. So here, yeah, there's a lot of big equipment, but certainly we have the latest and greatest. And it seems like every year the equipment gets bigger and better. So we a lot of shops come in and they're like, you guys have better equipment than we do. And we're like, yes, we do. So we're, I guess, a little bit prideful in that area. All right, so the ASEP program, a little bit about this cooperative internship program. It is my favorite. I came from a Ford program that was set up this same way, and now I teach for the GM program. I also teach for Global. I teach for all the programs, but this one is by far my favorite because I know that students are getting the biggest bang for their buck, and they are spending a lot of time out there in the real world, in the shop, getting to know everything, and enjoying the culture, really. So from a student's perspective, it's pretty easy to get into this program, even though it is selective, quote unquote. You know, really, the steps are pretty easy. So you apply, we do a little interview. We like to take you for a tour, make sure that this is something that you really want to do, and this is the best fit for you, because at the end of the day, we advocate for the students. And so if the students are happy, we're happy. So we want to make sure that this is right for you. And if it is, then we will get you started with a sponsorship right away. You don't even have to wait until classes start, which is fantastic, because some people, they try it out in the real world and they're like, you know, this is a little different than what I thought, and that's okay, no trouble. You know, we will help you get into even a different program if you like that, IT, you know, nursing, whatever it is that you're interested in, as sort of your second runner-up, so to speak. So you come in, and first we throw a bunch of web-based training at you. And then once you get some of these, you know, web-based training modules done, we are going to be in class and we're working on cars, we're going over theory, we do about half lecture, half lab. And then after 7 weeks is over, we send you out to the dealer with a mentor technician, and depending on your skill level going in, you may start out right as an apprentice, or they may say, you know, let's let you do oil changes for a little while, make sure that you get the flow of the shop and get to know everyone. And once we get to know you better, we'll find the perfect mentor for you. And then you just repeat that same cycle 5 times. So you start in fall and you get out not the next May, but the May after that. So about 18 months. But really, when you break it up, it's like 42 weeks total. Okay. At the end, you have an associate's degree, 80% of your GM certs, and you're a technician. You get a huge raise. It's great. A lot of our students come out of there making about $25 per flat rate hour, but that all depends on how hard they worked and, you know, where they're at in their career cycle. So here's a couple of our students working in the lab. So this is kind of a, you know, typical fun day for us. And this was before COVID. So yes, now we are wearing masks, you know, in the buildings, but that hasn't really affected us too much. And, you know, luckily everyone's been pretty good about complying with that. The gentleman on the left-hand side in the red shirt, that is Keith Brown. He runs the program. So when you do an interview, it'll primarily be with him. We also have a coordinator that helps you get the job that you want. Usually when you come in early, you can go right to the dealer in your neighborhood or wherever it is that you prefer to work, and we can get you a job there. So we have more jobs available than we have students. That's sort of our big problem, if you could say, right now. We don't have enough students. And here's the main classroom that we run our GM ASEP courses through. And so as you can see, there's a variety of cars in there. And yes, we do work on all of those cars. So we have the Corvette, we have the Camaro, we got a brand new XT5. Yeah, we get about 3 to 4 car donations a year. And they're oftentimes very nice cars. And we take them apart and we do bad things to them, and we figure out how to fix them before you go out into the real world. So it's good that you guys are able to touch $60,000-$70,000 cars before you in the fake world in school, before you go out there into the shop. So sometimes we're able to not only do lecture in this room, but we're also able to do a few labs, but we can also use the labs that I showed you before in the other pictures. So if you guys are interested in learning a little bit more about that, feel free to shoot my colleague an email. His name is Keith Brown, and KEI Brown at nvcc.edu is his contact information. We do have a global automotive program, as I had mentioned before. And the way this kind of looks is you can choose your schedule. You might want to come in Monday during the day, Tuesday in the evening, Wednesday. You might prefer to just take that day for working from home, doing your homework and everything. And then you're free to work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you know, to maybe get some field experience. And again, that's all up to you. But again, as faculty, we are here to help you figure out what classes to take when, and we offer a lot of guidance to any student that comes in. We don't have any manufacturer in-house training options necessarily through the global program, but a couple of manufacturers, Subaru and Ford, they have opened up their web-based training to us. So any automotive student can do Subaru training in advance or Ford training in advance if you want to get a leg up in one of those manufacturer dealerships. So those are some really, really great options. And really for any of this stuff, you can contact me. And I do believe Tiffany has sent out my contact information, but there it is again. If you are interested in Manassas, maybe that's a little bit closer campus to you, or you're interested in diesel or welding, then please reach out to John Hicks. And that is his email down there, jhicks@nvcc.edu. Pretty easy to find us. And of course, if you email me and you want to know about Manassas, I'll forward your email over to him, so no trouble. Here's the collision repair side. And I'll just flip through a couple pictures. This was a student project, a 1969 Mini Cooper that she was working on for a while. And so she's finally finished it, and it is out, and she's taking it to car shows and having a great time. If you have any questions about collision repair, again, you can just email me, that's fine. But ultimately, I will be sending your inquiry over to Mr. Warren Barbie. He is actually a trainer, a collision repair trainer for Volkswagen and Audi over in Leesburg. So he goes to training over in Germany for Volkswagen repairs specifically, and he's been in the industry a long time, really, really skilled, really excellent person. And so he will be able to answer specific industry questions about collision repair. And this is a few older pictures of Manassas campus, but they have, you know, again, the diesel, the welding, and they have a shop out there as well. So a couple welding projects, and I do believe they have a brand new welding room. So that is pretty nice. Okay, that's all I have. I wanted to make sure I kept it as short and sweet as I could. But yeah, reach out to me anytime if anybody has any questions.
Thank you so much, Laura. And so as Laura mentioned, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat. I'm going to be talking for a few slides, and then we'll actually have Michelle will have some questions for you shortly. So we are going to attempt to go back to our presentation, and we're going to see how this goes. And you all can let me know if you have any trouble seeing my screen or advancing. So just a couple slides here. We have put some information in here, and Laura is a wealth of information. I just want you all to know that. She helped with providing us some of these links for the associations and the scholarships, which was like way more than we ever anticipated. So, but we have put some links. Once you get the PDF of this, you'd be able to click on that and you can actually see information. And a lot of these organizations do allow students to be members. So you'll just have to kind of click around to see if you qualify for membership in that particular association. We also have a list, which I thought was amazing, that Laura provided with scholarships. This was really great because, as she mentioned, there are opportunities to come and do the program, and you're not having to do a lot of other courses here at Nova. But there's some great opportunities for scholarships to come participate in the program through some of these different associations, as well as some opportunities to receive other scholarships. And we've put those links there for you. So next up, we actually want to have Michelle as our spotlight for everyone here. And Michelle, this is going to be just kind of a fun time, kind of a Q&A. You already have your job, so it's not an interview, but we are just really excited to have you here with us. We know that we have people from Nova on here. We know that we have some parents, some high school students, as well as some CTE teachers. So we are just so thankful that you took a little bit of time out of servicing somebody's vehicle so that you could help our next generation of individuals go into the industry. So with that, we're going to just start off with the very first question. So we know that you graduated just a couple of years ago, but your current position, how did you get that? But then also, did you do anything else like growing up, like work in a shop or like help a family member out with a car or anything like that? How did you kind of get experience to get yourself to where you are today?
Perfect. Well, first off, thank you for having me. I was really excited to speak from my experience as a woman in the field. I actually grew up with cars because my dad has been working in the industry for over 25 years. He has done almost every manufacturer you can think of. He's worked on diesel, he's worked on trailers, he's worked on even like ovens and refrigerators. Like he's always been hands-on. So I've always been around that type of influence. Towards the end of high school, I was kind of lost. I did not know exactly what I wanted to do. All I knew is that I love things that were hands-on, and it requires me to think and to really challenge myself. So one summer, my dad just took me to the shop and I fell in love with it. It was just something that it was different every single day. I was always on my feet. I could get a little bit dirty and not care how I look when I'm doing it. And so then after that, I just attended Nova for 2 years, got my associates. And while in those 2 years, I was working with my dad at a BMW shop. So, and other German manufacturers, but mainly BMW. And I got so used to it and I fell in love with BMW. I then attended STEP program up in Jersey. And that was about 4 months, 5 months. And they got me to a level that we were comfortable with, and they showed us how a dealership works and how the whole system works. My first month at BMW of Fairfax, it was nerve-wracking because it was so fast. I was like, how are they punching time? How are they doing this whole process? How are they getting like 10 cars in their bays by midday? It was just a complete different environment for me. But so far, it's going really well and I'm getting used to it.
So when you mentioned the STEP program, so that was after you graduated from Nova?
Correct. The last few months.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and then I was going to ask, and then did they help pay for expenses, or did you still have to pay for certain things, or how did that work? Because I'm sure somebody would ask the question like, oh, how much does it cost if I get into that program, or are they paying out of pocket, or how that works?
Absolutely. So, so the process went at the last few months I was at Nova. I applied. Someone called me to have an interview, and then I had to fill out some forms. Housing, I had to pay for. I just had to find, like an Airbnb, or if you have family up in those locations. And I had to pay, let's say, I think about 600 a month for that room at a specific home. I just had to make sure that it was about a 15-minute drive from Woodcliff, New Jersey. Other than that, BMW, the facility just took care of our training in general.
Excellent.
The other thing that is very important to know about the STEP program is that you have to, after the program, you have to attend a dealership, work at a dealership for about a year. If you do not decide to go into a dealership, you have to pay $8,000 for that training.
Gotcha. Which I think is really great. I mean, I think that's why a lot of companies, let's say while students are in school, sometimes, companies will hire interns because they know that when they graduate and finish getting that quote unquote training, they've invested a lot in a person. So I think that's amazing. So what an awesome experience that you had to, also move out of the area for a little bit and
Mhm.
kind of have a whole nother life, but some additional training. So that's awesome. So I know you touched on like your academic preparation and some of your other personal experiences. And if there's anything else you want to add, feel free. We definitely want to know like what has kept you excited about staying in the industry, especially during change. We do know that people often have referenced what's happened the last 18 to 20 months of our lives.
Yeah.
If you want to, share anything about maybe what that was like, or any other changes, and how do you stay excited about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, what I love about my job is that it's different every single day. You do not see the same thing. Maybe services like an oil change or replacing tires or replacing um, wipers or stuff like that, little simple things. But here and then there, you will have a challenge. Either it involves electrical, something you've never seen before. So that's what keeps me excited in going to work every day because I'm just prepared to be like, okay, what am I going to face today? And that's what I've always loved about the industry is that even if you're familiar with a vehicle, there's always going to be that one thing that's going to hit you and you're going to be challenged the right way because you know that, okay, if I see it one time, if I see it again, I know what to do. So experience is a very valuable thing in this industry. Um, then, and what I love too is that my shop foremen are very open to helping me. And I work with other 45 men in the shop. And if I need help, they'll be happy to help me. It's like we are all constantly learning. Even if you've been in the field for about 10 to 15 years, you're learning every single day.
I want to kind of segue into, you sort of talked about challenges a little bit. Has it been a challenge being a female, as you mentioned, with 45 men in the shop environment? Were there any types of transitions that or challenges that you faced or you felt like they faced?
Yes, absolutely. The first couple months that I started working, I was not comfortable um, working with so many men around me because I felt that it was more challenging to have the same knowledge as them. For some reason, I compared myself with them just because I was a woman. But at the same time, I noticed how everyone worked differently, but not everyone was perfect and that everyone was learning. And that's what I liked because then I finally was like, okay, you know what? This is fine. I'm here to learn. I'm here to do my job. And my way to do a certain thing is different from that other person. And so it was it was completely different. And but that did not push me away. That just got me more curious on how I can do better and how I can try to demonstrate that I'm able to do the same job as any other person. And it was different for sure. It was very, very different.
It's
Um,
awesome. I was gonna say it was awesome too that you said just kind of like realizing that,
yeah.
to not compare yourself after a while. And I think that's a lot of what, people deal with, doesn't matter what age you are, where we all tend to kind of compare ourselves. So realizing that, hey, you have the skills, you have the talent, and just try, I think is a great message.
Yes, trying. And even though sometimes, I will be honest, there were some times that I was questioning, I was second guessing myself. And that's the worst thing that you can do, because then you can either make more mistakes, and then you're not as confident as you are, doing the next repair. And so these men who I work with, I've been told, they're like, we're not used to working with a woman. And that surprised me, because I was like, oh, I thought there was probably another woman here at the shop, but no. At the past 10, 15, 20 years of these men have been working in the industry, they've never worked beside a woman. And so I just had to, you know, I had to get used to it, and they had to get used to me, the way you treat someone in the shop. And it's a whole different environment compared to when you walk into an office. But it's so much fun after you get to know these men, and everyone is just so kind.
That's awesome. So, I can kind of hear this excitement in your voice, and it's kind of off the questions here, but still part of it. But what keeps you in the industry, and where do you want to go in the future, within the industry, or something else, if that's a different plan that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. What keeps me in the industry is, I think it's mainly just looking at all the different cars and looking at all the different situations. For me, it's me bringing something into my bay and being able to fix it. That's what keeps me going. Is that I'm like, oh, I fixed it. Oh, I did this. I did this big job, and I'm so proud of myself. So that's what keeps me actually going through the industry. Um, my plans have changed a little bit. I'm actually looking forward to going to the Air Force. I want to
Awesome.
do aviation.
Congratulations on that pathway.
Thank you.
That will be amazing. Well, and
Yes,
go ahead.
oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, I feel like that will open a lot more doors for me. I've always been into training and hands-on experience. And I feel like the military may give me that, a lot more than my dealership. Because right now I can, do training, become a master technician for BMW, and then like Miss Garcia said that, you can build off of that and go to school, and they can send you to further training, shop foreman. But I've always loved like the ways that planes work. And so I really want to become either a mechanic in the Air Force, or crew chief, or something that will open so many more doors.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Um, and then kind of the last question, and then anything else that you want to share or go back over, if I skipped over anything, that you want to share. But what advice would you have for individuals interested in getting involved in the industry? As I mentioned, there are some high school students on here. There are some parents of these students, and or guardians of some of the students. There are teachers on here who work with students who want to be where you are. What types of advice, or what type of advice would you give for them, that are interested in it, or those who are supporting those interested in your industry?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, the one thing is keep going. No matter how much experience you have, and no matter what challenge you face, do not give up in this industry, because a couple months or a couple even days after you do something and you're like, I did not do that correctly, you're gonna be like, wow, now I can do it. You surprise yourself every single day because you're growing. And that's why I've been doing this for the past 4 years, is because you grow every single day. You never go back. And there's always a challenge. And that's the advice I will give you all, is just to keep going.